Welcome back, disc golf fans, to the final 9 holes of the final round of the 2021 Delaware Disc Golf Challenge at Iron Hill, presented by Innova Champion Discs. I'm Brian Earhart, joined by Nathan Queen, and we have 3 players on this chase card that have an opportunity to make a push for the lead if they keep it clean throughout the back 9.
They've shot 4 down on this front 9, need a lot of birdies. 6 down on the back's been tough to do so far, but that's what these players need, at least if they're going to make a push for this win. Paul Ulibarri falling behind a little bit, but hanging on in there. You see the leaderboard, besides those top 2, very tight. Any mistakes from those guys and everybody could catch right back on up.
And coming at you with the Flight Factory drone fly-through, we are on to hole 10, consistently the toughest hole on the track. And it's just simply because if you want an easy look at a birdie, the aggressive tee shot on this quickly bending fairway it's tough to lay it down there.
Yeah, and when you say an easy look at the birdie, the easy look that you're going to get is 350 feet away still. So that's what makes this so difficult, is your good shot still gives you 350, 330 really at the least.
Yeah, this actually shapes up pretty nicely for Joel's bread and butter shot, which is the flex sidearm.
And he has landed in the middle of the fairway. He's back in that 370 or so range up to the pin.
And Calvin's just going with the Rhino. He's just going simple, kind of a dead weight hyzer with that glideless putter. Yeah, just falling in the middle, and Calvin will just be able to throw a fairway driver from there.
Yeah, he's back there pretty far, over 400.
I like this. This is a flippy putter that he's throwing. He's going to throw this close to vertical.
Oh, and it looked good, but just a bit fast to that tree.
Okay. We got the nuke. He's going with the same line that Joel was taking. Flexing a little bit too much. Yeah, he gets the claps, but he's just too far right to have a look at the birdie. Unless he throws some sort of miraculous roller. All right, like you said, he's about 400 feet from the basket. This is a long shot.
And he has executed it very well. That's about pin height off to the left side. Great shot from Calvin.
Another flex sidearm from Joel. Coming in nicely. It's got to sit down. Puts him to about circle's edge.
Yeah, we've got 2 birdie looks here on the hardest hole on the course. That's more than we've seen so far.
And here's the roller I was talking about. Look at that thing go. He's going to have a circle 2 look for a birdie. Ooh.
That'll be a tough par look from over there. Not quite able to get on the fairway so far. Yuli, probably 100.
Yeah, just outside circle 2.
Calvin cashes in. Being in the fairway. Off the tees, just he shows you why right there. Joel in the same position. And you could see just something not quite right with the release on that putt. Gets the nose down a bit too much. And when you have a chance for birdie on this one, you really got to take advantage of it. Tough hole to get the birdie on. Good scramble roller out from Uli. He wasn't in a great position. He got more distance than most players would off of that second shot.
Hole number 11. 600 feet flat. Tight gap the entire way. You want something on a little bit of hyzer flip that just rides flat and then pushes as far forward as possible. Regardless of where you are, you're throwing some sort of scramble shot. It almost feels lucky to have a straight shot into the screen.
The left side seems to play a bit more open than the right side. About 80 feet short of the pin, there's kind of a wall on the right side that blocks off a lot of the lanes that you could have, while the left side does have a left to right moving gap into the green.
Oh, that is overturned.
And gets a bad touch to the right side. Hopefully he caught something else to stop him from moving over towards 12's fairway.
Don't do that. Keep your feet.
Ooh, and he sneaks through the right side and puts himself to an okay spot.
Did you get skipped? Did you get skipped? I don't care. I haven't played this gap. I'm Brewing. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Let's go, dude.
Corey has pulled this too far right, but ends up in a similar spot to Uli, sneaking through some trees on the right side.
Didn't hear anything.
Yeah, you could see all the trees that Calvin was dealing with there. That's an incredible flex shot that he picked out to get all the way down. Not necessarily have a birdie look, but definitely advanced a good ways down the fairway. Joel going up high to try to crash into the green, ends up falling about circle's edge.
Gotta be good. Don't play the house. Are you serious?
Not sure that would have done much better without catching anything. But good shot. He's got a birdie look there.
Wow, Corey.
And Corey able to pipe a backhand down a tight gap. He went through that wall of trees that I was talking about that's on the right side.
Boom! Oh, wow.
And Calvin with the... doesn't even look like he putts. His style is so clean.
It just has that little nose up, like fade to the right, and it just drops so nicely in the basket. That's a 90-footer.
Off the fairway, 90-foot birdie putt.
Just high for Joel. He's going to settle for a par. Or I believe that might be a bogey for Joel.
And Corey tapping in a nice birdie after that good straight shot. And that is a par for Joel.
Oh, yes,
there.
yes.
When someone asks me about a straight flying disc, I instantly think about the Star Mako 3. The transitional star plastic is very grippy, feels great in the hand. You see me throwing my Star Mako 3 on backhand a lot, but it's also one of my go-to scramble discs, especially on forehand. If the shot is straight and you want to get close, check out the Star Mako 3.
Hole 12, 520. Very tricky little hole. Riding this straight gap, and you want to get right about here distance-wise. Otherwise, you're scrambling through a pretty heavy wall of trees, but it's just not that long, so just be prepared to scramble and land it on this rock green.
We've seen some aggressive plays, and it looks like Calvin is going down to a putter here. He's pulled it off to the right side. Kicking off to the left is probably worst case. You'd rather stay right side. It keeps you more towards the fairway as far as the good angle to it. We'll see what he's able to do from early left.
Joel has thrown a decent shot, but it is going to be a little deep. So he's going to have to throw some sort of turnover backhand. I don't know if he's going to be able to throw forehand from where he's at.
As long as he doesn't have too much of an odd angle from a tree, that turnover backhand with something slightly stable, I think is the best way to approach this green with the downhill. You can get it up high and have it float down and set softly. Great shot from Corey there.
That was about as good as you could get it. He stopped it right at the tree line, faded left. Paul he was going hard hyzer inside. And Paul's frustrated. He is just straight up frustrated.
And being early left is not a good place to be on this hole when you're frustrated. But he gets it out there pretty well. Scrambled to the fairway. He should be able to pitch up from there. Calvin got to a similar spot in a different way.
So he's still trying to go with the forehand flex. Not too bad at all. Oh,
and he
my.
does stay in bounds over there. That's pretty fortunate. And Paul with a bit of a misrelease on that little jump putt up shot there. Gets it a little floaty and it drifts over to the right. Calvin looking like he's trying to make this one. Lays it up nicely though.
Oh, Paul's still about 50 feet from the basket. All right. It's not exactly how you'd expect a par, but we'll take a look at this Gatekeeper rewind. Perfect. Bottom half of the pole.
Super clean release on that. Just stand still, using the downhill to his advantage and letting the disc just carry its way there.
That would have been ridiculous. So many skinny trees off to the right side. I'm guessing the gap he had was maybe 1.5 feet wide.
So all different ways, but we have 4 pars here on hole 12, showing you it still can be difficult even with short holes like that. Moves us to hole 13, 360 feet downhill, kind of a straight to almost dogleg left, but it's a par 3, not a par 4, so kind of a funny angle to hit. If you do hit it correctly, it leads you right to it though.
And Calvin's pulled that right. That's he's seeming to lose a little focus on the drives. Haven't seen him pure one in a few holes, it feels like.
Oh, baby.
And they love it.
It gets a kick off to the right, but again, stays in bounds.
Yeah, there's that last guardian tree before you enter that gap to the basket, and it is brutal because you're coming into it with so much speed and high usually. And that's the kick you definitely don't want. That left side is really brutal and tight.
Yeah, the last corner tree that you were talking about is what makes this angle so difficult. It just sticks out far enough where you can't just throw your stock shot at it. And if you're like me and only have the counterclockwise spin, it can kick you towards that OB pretty quickly.
And Paul, at this point in the round, you know you're not playing for the win, and at this point it just feels a little uninspiring to be just laying up for par so many times, or even just having to save par from so many long spots.
Right, and this is a stretch where you want to get 11 and 12 because going into 13, 14, 15, you've got 3 tough par 3s that just seems like that's what you do is lay up for your par.
Corey for a long birdie look. Let's go.
Right, a bit more open than the last hole and able to connect on this one.
He just flings the back of his wrist at the basket and lets the disc kind of follow through afterwards. That's an amazing circle 2 putt. We're used to seeing him cash those. This season he's been deadly from circle 2 with that spin putt.
Calvin, another bogey here. We'll see if he's able to bounce back. And Paul and Joel on this par streak, last 4 holes at least.
Hole number 14. One of the tougher par 3s on the course. Dead straight 400. You don't get to throw a flex shot though. You have to push a hyzer that fades left into this gap. If you have a long flex sidearm, that's also an option, but it is a tight window to hit. Hard hyzer out of Corey's hand, and that is flattening so nicely.
An incredible shot from Corey. He did exactly what you were talking about. Steep hyzer, slowly standing up and never really fading that much. He's got the advantage of throwing far enough to throw a slower speed disc that's not going to fade hard at the end.
He overturned it. He stood up on it just a little bit, but it got through everything, and he's going to at least have an easy... Wow, that snuck through a lot.
Circle 2.
I think he's going to be surprised at where he ended up. It's a little pulled as well. This is also what I was talking about.
So good. And I was thinking, if you think back to Corey's drive there, different from Joel and Paul's, he really put his shoulder down into it.
Yes.
To make sure that he didn't accidentally throw the flex line that Paul and Joel ended up throwing.
Yeah, he drove every bit of that body weight forward rather than any sort of rotational line initially. Made sure to throw the disc first before opening up. That's a great birdie from Calvin. Yeah, it's just one of the tougher lines to throw. You know, with a hyzer, you're tempted to want to swing your body open rather than jam it forward. It feels counterintuitive. But that's why I think a lot of the tour wooded courses are starting to force you to throw that shot.
All right, 2 birdies on the card. I'm not sure we've seen that yet. Great drives from Corey and Calvin there. Joel and Paul continuing this very mundane feeling par stretch. It's tough to stay positive when you're just parring along in the woods, especially in this final round when you're wanting to make a push for it.
Hole 15. Another 400-footer. This is the toughest par 3 on the course. And yeah, this is just tough. You're going to go uphill with something even flippier than you have to throw in the previous hole. This is going to be a steep hyzer from Corey. Oh, wow, that was about 50 degrees of hyzer on that one.
And he has hit this line perfectly. Still catches that last tree. I was just about to say there's a straight line to the basket, but it's not really a good line for a disc's flight.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Corey did it right there, which is, he threw that almost vertical though. Like that's not something that a lot of people can do.
Hey, Ben.
Ooh, hyzer flip forehand from Joel.
He just catches some late trees on the left side. Be about circle 2. And Paul has hit that straight line, but it's a little low. He's in a similar spot. And not many birdies to be had on this hole. Through the first 2 rounds, there was only 7.
And shout outs to Austin Hannum. Unbelievable ace. You've probably seen the clip. This is the most incredible ace I could think of on this course.
Yeah, even after watching it, I'm still not really sure how that happened. It's just an incredible shot. I'm sure he doesn't even quite understand what happened just yet either.
Absolutely not. Yes! Corey,
right.
what a turkey to have. 13, 14, and 15.
The 3 birdies I was talking about that are very hard to get, a lot of players are just going par, par, par on these 3 holes. Corey, though, birdie, 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 making big strokes on the field. Not quite as many as Austin Hannum on this hole, though.
Yeah, that was... The clip has been circulating since it happened, and it is a treat to watch.
Women are being featured in the magazine.
The women are out there, the pro women, so then it kind of motivates a lot of us amateurs to go out there and not be afraid.
I would love to see more tournaments like this in the future for women's disc golf.
I want to see more women filling spots in a tournament than men. That'd be something to brag about.
Disc golf's legit and we're here to stay and we're gonna make names for ourselves.
Say yes to disc golf!
Hole 16, 610, low ceiling, drifter to the right, flatten at the crest of this hill, and then begin moving downwards. And then you have another one of these funneling fairways to the basket, kind of a common theme at Iron Hill in these par 4s. Get to a landing zone with a lot more space, and then scramble your way down a tight corridor. See if Corey can continue this awesome birdie streak. Oh boy. It's pretty much an automatic par from there. Minimum.
Looks like Calvin going back to that destroyer we saw on 11.
That is crushed.
And that's to the second gap.
Yeah, let's take a look again. Calvin's been crushing these power shots today. And you just note, he kind of does the same thing. We watched Connor O'Reilly throwing in round 2. We watched Ricky Wysocki. They all do the same thing with that swooping the disc up above the shoulder, which is not something you can really teach a new player. But over time, they can do something like that to kind of adjust the nose angle and adjust the wing ever so slightly.
It seems to help them get the same amount of spin you would get from a hyzer snap on that Anheuser release.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, look at this line from Uli.
Yeah, there you go.
Woo! Yeah, top of the hill, not too bad.
And uh-oh is right. He's kicked another tree and gone kind of backwards off to the right side. In a pretty tough spot here to get up and down for par. Oh, and a very good double kick roll there to roll forward.
I mean, he has a long look, but he might be able to save par.
And Joel going with an inside gap, trying to do a hyzer flip with that chariot, I think, and not quite getting enough flip on it.
And I think Paul is throwing a first-run buzz here. Very expensive disc to have in the bag. He's very picky about the buzzes that he throws.
Oh, and Calvin catching some branches. He was so far down the fairway, he's expecting to park it from there and not have to putt, and he's still in circle 2 now. Very nice touch from Joel. Give us a great par.
And that is going to kill some momentum for Corey. Paul seems a little bit on tilt right now. I think he feels like he wasted an opportunity this round. Had a couple bits of misfortune. Seemed to stay with him the rest of the round. And that is a big missed opportunity for Calvin. That is a giant drive to have on this hole. And a little squeaky weak side putt for Ball.
Yeah, this feels like one of the par 4s that you need to birdie. Surprising to see no one on the chase card capitalize on that here.
Upside down tap in for Joel.
Pretending there's a little bit of wind out here.
Here we go. Hole 17. I have to believe that we're going to see some aggression from a few of these players at least, trying to go for the 3. Coming down the stretch, 2 holes left. This is just one of the best par 5s that we get to play all year.
I agree. This is, you said being aggressive going for the 3. That's still something that I can't quite wrap my head around for myself, but I know there are people that can reach it. There's a 500 marker in the fairway. If you can reach that and pass it by about 50 feet, then you may have a chance to get up there and get yourself an eagle look.
Oh yeah, and Calvin has thrown this one hard. This one has been drifting a bit too much for him, but he sneaks through the right side and pushes way up there. But the question is he too far right to go for that second shot?
We'll see what type of angle he has. And Joel has drifted this a bit too far right as well. Gets a kick off to the left side.
And this man is stepping up to probably his favorite shot in disc golf. Tight tunnel, distance driver as hard as he can. And if he sneaks into the left lane, it actually might not be terrible, but he clips another tree. He just needed that to flip a little bit more. Here's our last hope. Oh, no. And he advanced the fairway. We'll see if he has any open lane from there. And Joel does have an open lane.
Yeah, he's able to get out and push forward. It'll be pretty tough to get on top of the hill where the basket's at from there, but he may be able to get up to the bottom of it. Yeah, and Paul moves forward enough, he'll have a chance to get up there.
We still haven't gotten a Calvin shot yet.
Good third from Corey to get about to where the other guys are.
Yeah, he's a bit too far to the right. He's just going to have to settle for a flick. But a big flick at that.
What? He's got up there to the flat with a forehand second shot. He will have about 90 feet up this hill for a possible eagle run.
Just shows you how far his drive truly went. Okay, this is a good flip. Wow.
I was wrong. He is able to get up to the top of the hill from there, using a tight gap and pushing that disc straight forward. Corey Ellis with the standstill.
Oh, and he skips to the far side of the hill.
Too much power.
It still is only 35 feet uphill. He still has a look as well. Paul's got the mantis in his hand. This is a flippy mantis that he's throwing.
I was going to say that will be for Corey's par putt from back there after that first scramble shot didn't quite get him out of the woods.
He threw that really smooth, snapped it like a mid. Oh, and he gets a backwards kick off the rock. He's parked. That was a weird reaction.
And he didn't even get to see the good luck he got there after what seems to be a bit of bad luck the rest of the round. But he'll notice it when he gets up there and he's right by the pin. Calvin for the eagle. Catches the cage. Easy birdie.
And Corey's going to take another bogey.
And Joel finally off of that par train that's been going on since hole 10. Getting a birdie on hole 17. Moving him to 5 under for the round. Paul as well getting a birdie. Been on the same par train as Joel has since hole 10. That moves us into hole 18. Final hole of the Delaware Disc Golf Challenge. 630 feet, playing as the second hardest hole on the course today. You've got to get past the tree the drone just passed and ideally push all the way up here. That is very difficult to do though. Once you get up there, you've got a pretty straight shot towards the green. Just miss these rocks and you'll have a circle 1 putt.
You have to hit this line with power unless you're wanting to scramble up to the basket.
Calvin has hit the ideal line.
That is very big.
And he is still not quite far enough to have that straight gap at the basket. Even with how great of a shot that was, he's still going to have to try to throw some type of hyzer stand up or maybe a forehand up there.
Not that much. Holy cow, dude. Where are you going? Hit a house.
It's going off to the right.
He said hit a house. Unfortunately, there's no houses back there. He's pushed pretty far into the woods off to the right side. And Paul is going with the ESP nuke. That is a pretty line.
And if this pushes, this has gotten all the way past all that stuff on the right. He does have that straight look towards the pin from there. Incredible tee shot from Paul Ulibarri.
And Corey's done the same thing with a control driver.
Following those vapor trails.
Yeah. Last tree he needed to miss. Likely be laying up for a par. Corey going standstill. Just trying to give himself a putt, and he does. Circle's edge.
Yeah, just outside of circle 1.
Just goes to show you how tough this approach is, even when you're in Paul's spot. He has to go with this little touchy forehand.
Oh, that looks so good.
Birdieing 17 and 18. That's impressive. To go 1 under. What a roller coaster for Paul.
And I was wrong about where Calvin's drive was at, it looks like. Is this still his drive? There's no way.
No, this is his third shot. But again, I didn't see a second. Okay. There's no way a drive got that far in this hole. That is so big.
Corey for the birdie.
Let's go, Corey.
A good birdie to finish after an unfortunate bogey on 16 and 17. Gets back to 6 under for the round. Very, very good showing from Corey Ellis here. Another top 10 at one of these major events. Elite events. And a good par save from Joel. He was way off to the right off the fairway. Ulibarri birdie to finish to shoot 2 down on the round. Not the round you want, but incredible finish. Very tough to do.
And yeah, just a par for Calvin. Calvin shooting a decent round.
Yeah, 7 down gets him the top 5.
And there you have it. Kind of a bland finish for the bottom 2 players there.
Yeah, Joel staying bogey free on the round, just not quite getting the birdies you need on the back.
And as you can see, a historic finish for Austin Hannum, almost making a run for the lead. And Connor O'Reilly, a newcomer to the tour, making a big statement at this tournament.
Congratulations, Connor. Great play.
Make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media on YouTube. We will see you next time. Again, I'm Brian Earhart. He is Nathan Queen, and we are signing off.
We'll see you guys out there.